Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome to another exercise video. This is the exercise video accompanying section 2, lesson 3. And in section 2, lesson 3, we covered the saghira letters, the alif saghira, the waw saghira, and the ya saghira. So as part of that exercise, I assigned you two exercises. As part of that lesson, I assigned you two exercises, and today I'm going to do those exercises to show you what you should be practicing on your own, so that you start to acquire these skills for yourselves. First, as I said, we're going to open the Mus'haf, we're going to open the Quran, and we're going to try to read and try to figure out whatever we have learned so far. And if we don't know something, we can skip it because obviously we're not perfect at it yet. But inshallah, we are going to try to find the diacritics and the marks and etc. that we have learned in the Quran itself. So let's get started. And in the second exercise that we're going to do, I'm going to provide you a quick overview of how listening to words and trying to deconstruct them in my head has actually helped me a lot, figuring out how words are pronounced and how words are written, and it actually has helped me with my memorization. So I will do that exercise for you. That exercise I just do personally to help me. It might help you, but I'll leave that up to you. If it helps you, go ahead, use that exercise. But it has helped me a lot personally. So first, as part of that exercise that I assigned to you, what I wanted you to do is I wanted you to open the Mus'haf just like I've had you do in the previous few exercises. Actually open the Mus'haf and try to find what you learned in the previous lesson inside the Mus'haf itself, and see if you can try to pronounce it and pronounce what you know. So let's get started. Right now on the last page of the Mus'haf, which actually not the last page of the Mus'haf, but the last page of the Quran, in the sense that this page contains the very last surah. So it starts with Qul huwallahu ahad, which is Surah Al-Ikhlas, and ends with Surah An-Nas, which is Qul a'udhu bi rabbin nas. So let's get started. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. So first, we discussed Saghira vowels, and we have learned what have we learned so far? We've learned the letters, their combined forms, all three: initial, medial, final, and isolated forms, all of the forms of the letters. We've learned Fatha, Dhamma, Kasra. We've learned Tanween, and we've learned the Saghira vowels. But other than that, we haven't learned anything. That's our limit. We haven't reached to the next set of diacritical marks, like such as Mad, Hamzatul Wasl, and the shadda and the sukun, things like that we haven't learned yet. So whenever we see a diacritical mark that we haven't learned or we haven't seen before, we're gonna skip it. It's okay, but at least I want you to try to find what you've learned in the Quran and see see if you can locate the knowledge inside the Quran and see if it helps you. So let's get started with the Surah Al-Ikhlas. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. This is a qaf dhamma, so this is going to be qu, and this is a lam, and we haven't learned this diacritic yet. This diacritic above the lam that you see over here, this is called a sukun. We will learn that later, but this diacritic we will learn later, inshallah. So let's skip this one. Next we have, this is something that we have done. So this is a ha dhamma. So this is going to be ha dhammahu, and waw fatha wa. So this is going to be huwa, ha dhammahu, waw fatha wa, huwa. And this next word, most of you are going to be familiar. This is the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the lafzul jalala, and this is Allah. So let's skip that one. In the lafzul jalala, there is a diacritic that we have not learned yet. We're going to go into that one into detail later. But this diacritic is called a shadda, and we will go into that one later. So let's skip this one. This is a word that we can try. So this is a hamza fatha, a, ha fatha ha, aha, dal dhammatan dun, ahadun. Okay. Next we have again lafzul jalala, which is Allah. This is most non-Arab speakers should be able to and will be able to recognize this word. It's a very common word. This is the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this is lafzul jalala. So let's, for now, we can skip this one. And okay. This next one, again, the Sad has the Shadda on it. This is one that we have not learned, so we can skip this word as well. Let's keep going. Okay, again, this is a sukoon, and this word also has a sukoon, and this word also has a sukoon, and this word also has a sukoon. So what we can do as part of this exercise, whatever words we don't quite know about how to pronounce, we can skip those. But the words that we do skip, we can try to, or we can at least try to recognize the letters in the combined form. So this is a lam, and this is a fatha, and this is a meme. Now the sukoon we don't know on top, so we're not going to try to pronounce this one, but I want you to open the Mus'haf and at least try to recognize the letters in the combined format. So this is a ya and a fatha, and this is a lam and a kasra, and this is a dal with the diacritic we haven't learned. So let's skip this, but at least we can try to identify the letters that we have learned. This is a waw fatha, this is a lam fatha, and this is a meme. By the way, that's a sukoon on it. Meme sakina. A word that has a sukoon on it is called a sakina. So we can skip that one. This is a ya, this is a dhamma, and this is a waw. This is a lam fatha, and this is a dal sukoon. Okay. This is a waw fatha. This is a lam fatha, and this is a meme sakin. This is a ya fatha, kaf dhamma, and noon. Lam fatha. This is a shadda. We can skip this one. We'll learn this one later. This is a ha, and this is a dhamma. Oh, this is the diacritic that we learned in the last lesson, which is the waw saghira. So this ha and the dhamma on the ha will be pronounced equivalent to how many movements? Equivalent to 2 movements. So this is going to be who instead of who, because of this waw saghira. Next we have kaf dhamma. Oh, this is one of the words that we actually, we know all the rules and how to, we've learned everything so that we can pronounce this whole word. So the word is kaf dhammaku, fa dhammafu, kufu, waw fathatan one, kufu one. Next we have another word that we have learned, but the dhammatan that you see on here are in a very, very peculiar, written in a peculiar way. Well, I discussed this a little bit in the previous exercise video that I did, in which I believe I discussed Surah Adiyat, in which I told you that dhammatan are actually written one of 3 different ways in the Quran, and this is one of those ways. But this is actually dhammatan. It looks like a tiny meme next to the dhamma, but we will go into the detail of what this means and why it's done this way when we cover ahkam nun sakin wa tadween, and the iqlab is specifically what this denotes. But we're going to pronounce the word like this: hamza fatha ha fatha ha, aha, dal dhammatan dun, ahadun. Okay, moving on to the next surah. So this is qaf dhamma, this is lam sukoon, but we don't know the sukoon yet. I don't know how to pronounce it. We're going to skip this one. Hamza fatha, ayn dhamma, waw, and dhal dhamma. Ba kasra, ra fatha, ba kasra. This is an alif. I'm so not alif, so my fault. This is a hamzatul wasl. We will cover this diacritic, this little sad on the top of the hamza a little bit later. This is a lam sukoon. This is a fa fatha, lam fatha, qaf kasra. Moving on. Mim kasra, noon, Sheen fatha, Ra kasra. This is a shadda. We can skip this one because we haven't learned this one. Mim fatha and an alif. Okay, this is one of the words that we do know how to pronounce, and so we're going to do this whole word. Kha fatha kha, lam fatha la, khala, qaf fatha qa, khala qa. This is a waw fatha. This is a mim kasra. This is a noon. Sheen fatha, ra kasra. Now this is another word that we know how to pronounce, and we're gonna actually no, this one we should skip, but this is the one that we're going to pronounce next. This is ghain fatha, and this is an alif. This is a sin kasra. This is a qaf with kasratan. This is hamza kasra, dhal fatha. This is an alif. This is waw fatha, and this is the word that we're going to pronounce next because we know how to pronounce this whole word. This is waw fatha wa, qaf fatha qa, wa qa, ba fatha ba, wa qa ba. This is waw fatha wa, mim kasra. This is a noon. This is sheen fatha, ra kasra. This is a shadda. We will skip this one for now. And this whole word is somewhat complicated because it has two shadda and actually has two alif saghiras on it as well. So notice this is an alif saghira right here, and this is an alif saghira right here. Okay, moving on. This is fa kasra, and then a ya. This is a hamzatul wasl. We can skip this one. This is lam sakina. We can skip this one. This is a ayn dhamma, qaf fatha, dal kasra. Okay. This is a waw fatha, mim kasra, noon, sheen fatha, ra kasra, ha fatha and an alif, sin kasra, dal kasratan, hamza kasra, zal fatha and an alif. This is one of the words that we can pronounce because this only has fathas on it. So let's try to pronounce this one. Ha fatha ha, sin fatha sa, hasa, dal fatha da, hasada. Okay, moving on. I'm going to try to go through this Surah An-Nas a little bit quick, so just try to follow along. If but when you're doing this on your own, I don't expect you to do it so fast. I want this video to not be too long. In the interest of time, I'll skip. I'll go a little bit fast, and I'll perhaps skip a few words and identifying. So this is qaf dhamma, lam sukun, hamza fatha, ayn dhamma, and the awaw. This is dhal fatha. I'm sorry, dhal dhamma. This is ba kasra, ra fatha, ba kasra with a shadda on it. You can skip this one. This is hamzatul wasl. This is a lam, noon fatha with a shadda on it. Sin kasra. This is a word that we can pronounce, so I'm going to do it for you. Mim fatha ma, lam kasra li, mali, kaf kasraki, maliki. This is a hamzatul wasl. We can skip this one. This is a lam. This is a noon with a shadda and a fatha on it. And this is a sin kasra. This is another word that we can pronounce, so I'm going to pronounce it for you with the spelling. Hamza kasra'i, lam fatha alif saghira la, ila, ha kasrahi, ilahi. This is a hamzatul wasl. This is a lam, noon fatha and a shadda on it, and this is an alif. This is a sin kasra. Moving on. Mim kasra, noon, shin fatha, را كسرة، همزة الوصل، لام سكون، واو فتحة، سين سكون، واو فتحة and an ألف، سين كسرة، همزة الوصل، لام سكون، خا فتحة، نون فتحة with a shadda on it، ألف، سين كسرة، يا ضمة، واو فتحة، سين سكون، واو كسرة، سين ضمة، فا كسرة، يا، صاد ضمة، دال ضمة، واو، را كسرة، همزة الوصل، لام، نون فتحة with a shadda on it، ألف، سين كسرة، ميم كسرة، نون فتحة، نا، مينا. This is همزة الوصل، لام سكون، جيم كسرة، نون فتحة with a shadda، تا كسرة، واو فتحة، همزة الوصل، لام، نون فتحة with a shadda on it، ألف, and sin with the sukun below it. So I just did a quick overview of what a page and how you can open a page of the Quran and actually try to dissect and attempt to implement what you've learned so far. So if you know this, if you know how to pronounce these surah, if you know how to pronounce these, and if you've already memorized these, you actually can go ahead and pronounce them for yourself. But I want you to be able to implement and learn these rules for the rest of the Quran, so that you can apply these rules and actually read a portion of the Quran and open up and recite other part of the book that you actually have not learned before, that you actually have not seen before, you have not memorized before. So the skills that I'm having you practice again and again, and basically recitation of the Quran is a motor skill, and by motor skill I mean it's something that you have to move your muscles in the mouth and your nose and your tongue in order to be able to learn this skill. So you have to practice it in order to be able to get better at it. So that's it for this part of the exercise. The second exercise that I assigned to you as part of the previous lesson was that I assigned to you is to see if one exercise that has helped me a lot is that I used to be, when listening to the Quran, any of my favorite reciters, and I would hear a word and I would try to deconstruct in my head what that word might be when written in the Quran. So today, the way that I did it is when I heard the word, I actually would try to think what the word might be, the letters that might comprise that word, and what it would look like in the Quran. And once I got home, while I was listening to the reciter, once I got home, I would actually try to look that word up in the Quran, see how correct I was. So this is how I used to do it, and I'm gonna write it down for you. But this actually was more of a mental exercise for me, but it has helped me a lot. So I'm going to say a word, and I'm going to recite a word, and I want you to see if from just me reciting the word, see if you can deconstruct in your head, number one, uh, what the letters are of the word and what the diacritics on that word might be. So is it a dhamma, is it a fatha, is it a kasra, is it uh, you know an alif saghira, etc. So I want you to try to do that with me. So first, the first word for the day that I'm going to pronounce for you, and I want you to try to listen. The word is qutila. One more time. The word is qutila. Again, qutila. So if you heard that word, what letters do you think comprise that word? So if I were to hear that word, and this is the way that I did this exercise myself, I would think to myself, you know what? Qutila sounds like the word has, and let me see if I can, yep. Qutila sounds like, let me erase that last part. Qutila sounds like it has the letter off in it. So that's one of the words. one of the letters that comprises that word. And then it sounds like the word has the letter da. So forgive me for the writing because obviously I'm writing on a drawing board off of a computer trackpad, and the writing is not going to be good. But I think you should, it should be reasonably legible. You should be able to tell what letters I'm writing. And the third one, and qutila, I'm going to say is a lam. I'm going to guess a lam. And now if I try to say if it's qutila, I'm going to say the qaf must have a dhamma on it. The ta must have a kasra on it. Because qaf dhamma would be qu, ta kasra would be ti, and lam fatha would be la. So the word is qutila. And now, obviously, this is not how the word qutila would be written in compound format. In compound format, it would be written like this. Qaf, oops. Qaf, then a ta, and then a lam. And qaf with a dhamma on it, ta with a kasra below it, and lam with a fatha on it. Qutila. So that is how the word would be written in compound format. So what I would do is then after I would think, obviously I wouldn't write this down on a piece of paper because I would be listening, but I would be deconstructing it in my head like this. Like, this is what I think the word might look like. But obviously I don't know how the Quran or what the word is. I should go back and check, and I would keep repeating that word to myself in the car over and over again. And I would say, this is what I think the word would look like. This is what I think the word is. And I would go back and I would check in the Quran, see if that word was in fact that. And if I was making any mistakes, if I didn't hear the letter correctly, perhaps I heard a qaf when it was actually a kaf, or perhaps I heard a ta when it was actually a ta or something. And I would correct myself. Okay, this word has a ta in it, and I heard it as a ta, so that means I have to be careful and listen for the sound of the word of the letter ta next time, so that I know that this is a ta that the reciter is reciting. So this exercise has helped me a lot. Next word that I'm going to clear this board. Next word, I'm going to. Okay, so this is a good one. I'm going to say rafa'a. One more time. The word is rafa'a. One more time. The word is rafa'a. So first, if I heard that word, the way I would deconstruct it in my head while I was in the car, I would think to myself, you know what, this word probably has a ra. And then I'm going to say the word rafa'a, with the second letter in that word would be, or should be, a fa. So that would be my next one. And the third letter in rafa'a would be ayn. And this is how I would deconstruct the word in my head. Ra, fa, a. And what do I think the movements are? I think the ra would have a fatha on it, the fa would have a fatha on it, and the ayn would have a fatha on it. Rafa'a. Now obviously, rafa'a is not written like this in compound format. When you put it in compound format, it's written like this. Ra fatha, fa fatha, and ayn fatha. But this is how I would deconstruct the word in my head. First, I would think about the letters, then I would think about the movements, and then I would think about how this word might look like when it's in its constructed final format. And then I would check if I was correct or not. But what this has helped me do, A, this has helped me a lot recognizing the sounds of the letters. B, it has helped me a lot with memorization of the Quran, because once I looked up a word and I deconstructed it in my head and I actually went back to see what that word was. It's very difficult because I've interacted with that word 3 or 4 different ways. It's very difficult for me to then forget that word. So this exercise has helped me a lot. Next, the word that I might hear. I'm going to clear this board. I'm going to recite the next word. And the next word that I might hear would be safaratin. One more time. The word is safaratin. One more time. The word is safaratin. So, uh, so first I would obviously guess the letters. So I'm gonna say the first one is the letter sin. That's the first letter I heard. And the second one I heard was in safaratin was the letter fa. And then I heard a ra. And then I heard a ta. And I'm gonna say the sin probably has a fatha on it. And I'm gonna guess the fa probably has a fatha on it. The ra probably has a fatha on it. Oops, too long. So I'm gonna just say undo. That the fatha doesn't need to be that lengthy. That's a ra fatha. And then, but the third was what? A tin. So I'm gonna say, because it's a tin and it's a noon sound, it's a noonation sound, that this ta has kasratan below it. So this is what I guessed, or how I would deconstruct or attempt to deconstruct the word in my head. Now the word safaratin, when written in compound format, in combined format, it looks like this. It's a sin, then a fa, then a ra, and then it is a ta, but it is a ta marbuta. And sin fatha, fa fatha, ra fatha, and ta with kasratan below it. Safaratin. So this is how I would deconstruct the letters. And I would say, you know what? This is what I think it might look like. I'll go back to the mushaf and I'll see what it looks like. Now, many times I would be wrong about the letter. I would be totally off, and I would hear a sin when it was actually a sad. I would hear a ta when it was actually a ta or something. But I would go back and I said, let me hear what the reciter sounded like. And when I heard the letter again, I said, yep, that was not a ta, that was a ta. But my ears deceived me. So I would keep hearing it over and over again, and that way I would start to differentiate easily the differences between the sound of the ta and the ta. And this, for example, another sound that people have a lot of difficulty with, the difference between the sound of the sin and the thad. So the way this is an exercise that has helped me deconstruct letters, A, memorizing them, B, differentiating the sounds of the letters. So I hope this that you can try this exercise on your own. Obviously, I did this, on a piece of paper or on my computer screen as as an exercise for you. But obviously, you're going to do this as a mental exercise. This mental exercise has helped me a lot. I hope it helps you. And so that's it for today's exercise video. Jazakallah khair for watching. Inshallah, I will see you next time when I will cover or start to cover the mud and what it means to elongate letters. We'll start with that. So inshallah, I will see you then. Jazakallah khair for watching. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.